Kira Rudik, leader of the Ukraine's opposition Golos Party. Good to speak to you again, Kira. It's been a very rough night in Ukraine. How much of this is down to the fact that you don't have access to the intelligence that you had access to until 24 hours ago?
Hi, Matt, and thank you so much for having me. Well, I think it will be fair to say that the recent deaths by Russian missiles and drones, the responsibility they share with the Americans who made the decision to cut the intelligence. And we have talked with you before on that it was a really brutal and cruel decision, because it will not have effect at the battlefield that much, but it will have effect on us not hearing the air raid sirens, people not be able to rush into the bomb shelter and have a chance for them and their kids to be not killed by the huge piece of metal coming from the sky. And it is so painful to talk about that, because they have done it openly. Our allies, Americans, said, well, we are actually sentencing some of you people to death because we think that it will bring you to the discussions closer. And it's very hard to be explaining to people at the battlefield and closer to the front line what's going on. And the main question, what did we do wrong in this matter?
I mean, of course, President Zelensky has already said repeatedly all week since the bust-up in the White House that he is ready to come to the negotiating table with Donald Trump to sign the deal that's on the table. He has said so over and over again. So why do you think President Trump has done this? What's the real reason?
Ukraine is really more difficult to negotiate than Russia, because we want to survive, and we said that we won't capitulate. Probably that is the thing that was so annoying to American presidents. I want to mention again that the decision to cut us of the intelligence was coming after President Zelensky sent this apologizing letter. And so we didn't see, as of right now, any fact that would support the statement that Russia is ready to negotiate, because they haven't stopped killing us and attacking us. And so we are being pressured to capitulate, and we are not going to do that.
Is that what you think is on the table now from the Americans as well? Capitulation rather than some kind of peace settlement?
We didn't hear details about the peace settlement, but we didn't hear an answer to our main question about the security guarantees. Security guarantees is what is different between capitulation and actually a valid peace deal that would end the war in Ukraine. Because if we stop right now, Russia gets off the sanctions, they will just regain their military strength and will attack us again, or any other sovereign state. We know it, it's very clear for us, and I think to every logical person who sees what's happening. And while we have explained it numerous times to so many people in the United States, it doesn't seem to reach the center of the decision-making.
What do you think would motivate Vladimir Putin to stop fighting at the moment? Because he seems to be on a roll. He's being handed some very good cards, as President Trump might say, by President Trump. Why would he want to stop now?
Yeah, he has no reasons to. You're absolutely right. And the only thing that we have proven to stop Russia was to fight back. And the only thing that we in our hearts believe that would stop Russia is when Ukraine is armed to the teeth and is able to fight back. Again, we can talk about about some perspectives, about some ideas, but Matt, the only thing that worked for us is to fight back. And we can only trust this way, not the other ways, because those ways didn't work for us. The peace deal in 2014 didn't work for us. The attempts to look Putin in the eyes didn't work for us. And this is why we know that our only chance to survive is to get more weapons and supplies from our allies in Britain, in the European Union, and be ready to fight back and push Russia away.
So the developments in Brussels this week, a pledge of 800 billion euros on defense spending, most of it for countries in the European Union, but also a lot of it for Ukraine. Is that your lifeline?
It is indeed. We just hope that we will be able to move fast because we need to move fast. And you know how the only fault of democracy is that it's sometimes slow. And so that's why we really hope that from the decision making up till the execution will be as short time as possible. And because we are basically counting by days. Right now, we are blind against Russians' attacks, and Putin sees this as a weakness. And as Donald Trump says, "Oh, I would have done the same." Well, we are talking about a war criminal whose army has committed all kinds of the war crimes. And what is happening in the geopolitics right now is normalizing that behavior, showing other dictatorships that you can go ahead, do whatever you like, and then President of America will try to show you some pity and say, "Yeah, well, anybody who is armed and strong will go ahead and will start raping, killing people. We should come along and understand this is poor criminal just can't do that. This is why he does that."
There's no mistaking the anger in your voice, Kira. I mean, we know from the very beginning of the war that Ukraine is incredibly resilient. They're very innovative when it comes to using commercial technology for military purposes. Just look at the way you've repurposed hundreds of thousands of small commercially bought drones for the battlefield. Is there any way that you can work around the absence of access to American intelligence to get the information you need?
Well, Matt, I know that there are many brilliant people are working on it right now. We knew from the day one that this fight is David versus Goliath, and our only chance is to be smarter, more innovative, and figure out the ways where everybody else would stop. We do that because our lives are on the line, and we will try our best. We hope for the collaboration from British and European companies. And we will do our best in protecting our people the way that we have done all the previous times.
What about if Elon Musk does what some people have said he might do, which is to turn off the Starlink access to his satellite network, which again, Ukraine relies on very heavily in not just the country as a whole, but also troops on the front line. What impact would that have?
It will be a massive hit, of course. And I think it will be a massive hit on Elon Musk's business with Starlinks, because Ukraine right now has a good chunk in that. And we have been buying those for many of our capacities and capabilities. Even, Matt, at home, I have Starlink because we didn't know what will happen with the conventional providers. So if Elon Musk turns that off, that would mean that any other client of Starlink cannot rely on it. And I think that will mean to all the other companies that were using it, that they have to go off it, because it's basically the switch is in the hands of a man who is obviously not on Ukraine's side.
Two final questions, and brief ones, if I may, Kira. There were reports this week that Donald Trump had sent a high-level delegation to Kyiv to talk to opposition figures in Ukrainian politics who might one day challenge President Zelensky and take over the running of the country. Pedro Poroshenko was mentioned. He's the chocolate tycoon who used to be president of the country. And, of course, Yulia Tymoshenko, who also, I think she was prime minister, after the Orange Revolution. I mean, how popular are these two politicians, or indeed other politicians, compared to President Zelensky? And would they be able to replace him if there was an election held soon?
Matt, let me stop you right here. We have actually in the parliament issued a statement from all parties and all party leaders that we are not going to challenge President Zelensky until the war is over. So,
and this is coming from you, an opposition leader.
Yeah. Well, we, more than our political ambitions, we want our country to win the war, for the war to be over, and for us all to survive, and for our people be able to live in the democratic country. We will be happy to participate in the elections, but after the war is over. And so I think these discussions meant to put more pressure on President. But since the spat at the Oval Office, I think he understands more than ever that we are all on the one side, and this is side of our country, Ukrainian side.
What's this doing to morale? I mean, you clearly sound quite upset discussing some of the developments this week, but I also know you to be a very resilient character. What's this doing to morale?
After, again, the spat and the pressure that was put on us, the Oval Office, it proved one more thing that we knew many times, but we had to repeat to ourselves, that we can rely on ourselves first, and we can rely on our allies second. And so we are sticking together and figuring out some first-hand issues that are arising on our path. I have received many calls from the front line saying, you hold on there, we are doing our part, but you politicians just try to stick together and do your part well. So this is what we are doing.
Kira Rudik, as ever, thank you very much indeed, and good luck to you.